What's up, guys? I thought I'd talk a bit more about the orchiectomy procedure today. A couple of things that I wanted to talk about were the things that I had to have in order to actually qualify to even get the surgery, and as well as how I went about requesting time off from work. This is only going to apply. I don't know if this will apply to where you live. I live in USA in New York State, so the rules may apply differently if you're in a different state for me or whatever. Um, but uh, so essentially, most doctors are not going to do the surgery without a note from like a psychologist or like some kind of psychiatric representative. Um, Basically, they want you to speak to somebody, and essentially, like in my case at least, it it should improve the quality of my life in theory. So, um, but essentially, it's like it's a big life changing procedure. So, like they want to make sure that you know mentally what you are getting yourself into. So, like obviously, like once everything's done, you can't like undo it. So I think it is a good idea personally to have to do like a psychological eval, and before doing this procedure personally, like I was not like opposed to it. Like it was like slightly anxiety inducing to like have to go through the psych eval originally when I first got on the estradiol, because like it was just so scary, because like I thought I was like so afraid that they're gonna say no, you're not ready for the estrogen or whatever. But essentially, because I had already established care and I had already had like a demonstrated history of like having these issues with my gender identity, it's easy to come to the conclusion that the hormones improve the quality of my life. The testosterone blockers obviously improve the quality of my life. So having the surgery done and then not having to worry about this medicine that I have to take every day anymore would also improve the quality of my life. I'm so sorry, my voice is a little bit hoarse. I think I'm getting allergies or something. But anyways, yeah, in theory, this should improve the quality of my life. I'm fairly confident that it will. So, yeah. Anyways, so I had to get two letters. So, your insurance may require a second letter. Just an FYI. So you may get a letter from your from your therapist or counselor or psychiatrist or whoever you see, and then go to your doctor with your letter and be like, "Yo, I'm ready." And then they're like, "Oh, the insurance says you need two letters," and they want two letters from two different providers. So that's what I had to get. Fortunately, because I already had established care, it was not a big deal for me to do that. But it's just something to bear in mind if you are planning on going through the surgery and you're also planning on having your insurance cover it. So I did let my boss know that I would have to take at least 2 weeks off from work, and for at least 1 week after that, it would be very limited. Like I would not be able to do any lifting for at least a week after the 2 weeks after I return. Um, so most places, New York for sure. Most places though, you do not have to tell your employer why you're taking time off. Like you don't have to tell them anything. Just FYI, I, I mean, my employer has an idea of why I'm taking time off. I haven't outright said specifically to anybody why I'm taking the time off, but like, I mean, it's easy to like it's easy to probably figure out what I'm taking the time off for. I checked in my work app where they show you how many accrued hours, that like paid time off hours you have and paid medical leave hours you have. And I have been at this company for, I will, in 10 days, I've been there for a whole year. In a whole year, I've not taken a single day off of work, so pat on my back for me, whatever. But, anyways, I have all of this medical leave accrued. So I had 51 hours of medical leave accrued. And I asked my boss, I was like, so can I use, because like when you take time off for work for a surgery, even if it's for like something like this, because it's considered medically necessary because it's going to improve the quality of my life, I can use that medical leave for my recovery. So like this, like with this medical leave, pay, I looked it up, at least in New York State. You can use it for anything. You can use it like if you have a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment. The only stipulation is that it has to be like a shift that you're normally scheduled for. So like say you're normally scheduled for work on a Tuesday, and your dentist appointment is also on Tuesday. You could use, assuming that you have some paid medical leave, you could use that paid medical leave for that Tuesday. So because I normally work every week, I should be able to use that paid medical leave for those 2 weeks. So I asked my boss, hey, can I use my medical leave for those 2 weeks that I will definitely be taking off? And she said, no, you have to be scheduled for a shift and you have to call out for it to use the paid medical leave. So I was like, are you sure about that? Because that does not sound right. And she was like, no, definitely. You have to call out for a shift that you're already scheduled for. And I was like, so why can't you, can you just schedule me for the shifts and then I'll call out for them or whatever, and then you can give me the medical leave? And she's like, no, you can't do that. And I was like, that doesn't really make sense. I was like, that, to me in my mind, I was like, that incentivizes people to call out for their shifts or whatever. I was like, that doesn't sound right. I was like, no offense to you, but would you mind if I called the payroll department and spoke to them? She was like, sure. She handed me the phone number, so I called them later that day. They told me the exact same thing, that you had to have, you had to be scheduled for a shift and you had to call out for your shift in order to get this leave, this paid medical leave. Well, I just happened to be on the NewYork.gov website, and I was literally reading the website. I was like, listen, it's like, are you sure? Because it says right here on the website that you can use it for whatever you want, as long as it's a shift that you're already scheduled for. And I was like, I'm reading it right off the government website. And she was like, oh, I'm not really, let me get you with a manager. So she's transferred me to a manager, but I went to a voicemail. So I left a message and got a phone call a couple days later back, and they are going to pay it. So like, don't be afraid to speak up is the moral of the story. If something doesn't sound right like that, don't be afraid to speak up. I was also prepared to email the Department of Labor and the Attorney General, which I actually did email both of those people. But it was anonymous, so like I didn't put like where I worked or anything, because I was like, is that, I wanted to know if that was right. I wanted to hear it from somebody that wasn't at work, because like I couldn't find anywhere where that was a rule. I was like, that doesn't sound right. That's like, don't. But anyways, yeah, don't be afraid to speak up. I am able to get that medical leave to be paid for that 2 weeks when I'm off, so bang in there. Anyways, I can't really think of anything else I want to speak on the subject today. I hope you guys all have a great day. See you in the next one. Fizzies!